All right, this bag here is the front chains that I bought for the Coyote CK3510 tractor. And I'll put the tire sizes up in a minute, but looking at this, how do you put the chains on the tractor? You know, the great thing about having a tractor is the front chains I'm going to put on first so I can get it out of the tractor shed and onto the snow. But I just went ahead and used the bucket and lifted the two tires off the ground. So I'm just going to wrap it right around. What an easy way to put chains on a tractor. So that's the goal, that's the hope. It would probably be wiser to keep the motor running to do this, but with the snowblower running out there, my wife clearing a path, and the tractor motor running, it's really hard to do a video. So I'm going to go ahead and leave the tractor motor off, but the hydraulic system is now at the mercy of its standstill, and it can start to lower, and it will slowly start creeping down eventually. I mean, I can probably get both chains on, no problem. It's not going to come crashing down because it's a relatively new tractor. But if you have a leaky hydraulic system, this would be very dangerous to do, and you'd want the engine running the entire time.
An interesting story with these tractor chains. The plow truck generally can keep up on the road. I have about a mile of road that I maintain. But if there's any area that I can't get to during a storm of this magnitude, such as the February 12th storm, that I couldn't keep up. There was just some areas I just had to let go, and my berms, as I'm pushing on the side of the side of the road, they got narrower and narrower and narrower, and to where I needed extra help. And the tractor was my answer to use the bucket and take the berms and lift them up and push them out of the way. And the areas that I couldn't get, I used the tractor bucket to lift the snow up that was 2 feet deep and push it out of the way, because the tractor could go places that the snowplow couldn't. If I used the snowplow to get in, I would have actually gotten stuck, and I would have created a berm with the snowplow truck. In fact, I tried it and got the truck actually stuck. What I like to say is that, trying to find chains for a good price on a tractor, it is really interesting how chains are actually priced out there. So I called the local farm and feed store, and they make chains, and people had recommended them, and I got a price for the chains for my size tire, and it was going to be about $380 something, and that's not including the tax. And that was only for the two rear tires, not the front. And I was kind of bummed about that. I was like, that's really expensive, and that was definitely going to hurt my checkbook. So I decided to call Jordan Sales and Service in Post Falls. This is the place I bought my Coyote tractor, and I just wanted to call them and compare prices and see. Well, they didn't sell chains for the tire, and they actually introduced me to another company called Blue Jay Industrial in Hayden Lake. Now, Blue Jay Industrial, they actually make logging chains, tire chains, winches, cabling, rigging, all that stuff professionally. That's what they do. That's their full-time thing. Or a farm and feed store, they just hire a guy, train him how to do it, and then he just does it whenever there's a need. Well, this professional outfit charged a way better price because, one, I think it's because they know that what they're doing. Two, they can buy the chain in bulk because that's all that they do. And I got an excellent deal. For the price I would have gotten at the farm and feed store, which they were asking for, I think I mentioned it, $380 for the rear set. And that was just with no grip chain, just regular chain. No special tie, just a ladder tie. I was able to get, with that price, about $384, right about there, 4 chains, 2 for the front, 2 for the back, and they all had the claw V-grip in the chains. The front are a ladder chain, and the back is actually a square pattern on top of the wheel with grip all around it. Just an excellent chain, and I couldn't get that at the farm and feed store. That $384 was actually including the sales tax in it as well. The chains were actually cheaper than that if you took the sales tax off for Idaho, which is 6%. what a relief it was to find that. But my wife and I had to run down to Hayden before they close. So we hopped in the car, raced down there, and while we're down there, a snowstorm hits again. And we decided to, we got the chains. We didn't waste much time. We were thinking about maybe hanging down there for a little bit and enjoying the big city compared to where we live. But we just went, the snowstorm. Our son was about to get out of school. We needed to pick him up. We decided to race back. So we raced back, and we got to our hill where we have to drive up to get to our property, and the car got stuck in the snow. So an hour later, after trying to get my Les Schwab chains on my front-wheel drive car, I ended up breaking one of the chains. It was a total mess, a nightmare. I dug in so much with the car that I had to jack it up in the snow. It really was a mess. And if you don't have, I have snow tires, so if you don't get a good enough run up our hill to get up to our property, and even with snow tires, you can get stuck. And it was just enough snow, just enough powder to really do me in. Plus, I had the weight of the tractor chains in the back of the car, which didn't help either because it's popping the weight off the engine, which I think caused more of the problem too. Well, enough being said, so I destroyed one chain to get 4 others, and I did have another set of Les Schwab chains that had broke before, so I pieced out one to make the other one work. So it all worked out in the end, but it was just kind of like this, moment where you're racing there, racing back, getting stuck. It was just kind of a nightmare, but it all ended up fine. We got everything together, and as you can see in this video, the tractor chains work great, and I just love them. So definitely shop around and give your dealership a chance. Usually I stay away from dealerships because they always charge higher prices for everything, and I have to say that Jordan's Sales and Service in Post Falls is a straight shooter, and I really appreciate him for that. I really do. I've called him several times, and I realized that they are very competitive for tractor parts for the Coyote, and I'm starting to really rely on them more and more.